Yes, people. What is good? Ben from Lover of Tech, and we are, of course, live. Welcome to your Monday night Tech and Chill Show Unplugged. I'm your host, Ben from the Lover of Tech channel, and of course, we are going to be talking about all things related to the newly announced M3 Pro, M3 Max 3nm based Apple Silicon chips for their new iMac, about time, the new MacBook Pro 14, and the MacBook Pro 16. Oh my goodness. This is an interesting one because I've got some concerns, but overall, this is going to be a very, very, very good release, but I do have some concerns. And we're going to break down each particular laptop or Apple Silicon based computer from the refresh of the iMac. But really, as someone that is not really an iMac user, and as someone that really delves into having a MacBook Pro for productivity, especially the 14-inch, as someone that travels a lot, and it's a laptop that is portable, powerful, packs away a lot easier, and it's just easier to manage compared to the 16-inch. That's the one that's near and dear to my heart because that 14-inch M1 Pro base model that I got last year, May 2022, right, which was, I would say, we count the months from October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. I got that basically 7 months after it was made official in October 2021. That base model MacBook Pro fundamentally changed my mindset and my thought patterns on what I needed as a video producer, as someone that makes video content on a regular basis, that makes video content for a living. This new approach with the 14-inch MacBook Pro base model, not starting with a Pro chip, starting with a non-Pro chip that we would usually find in something like a MacBook Air, it's very, very concerning. I've got some concerns. I do have some concerns. We're going to break it down, talk about the SKUs and specs. We're going to talk about the configurations, how things look from my side here across the pond in the UK, but also how that differentiates a bit when it comes to the US pricing, which usually US pricing isn't without the state tax. Some states do have tax, some states do not. Of course, yada, yada, yada. Our price is the value added tax VAT included as per. We're going to dig in and pretty much break down everything when it comes to my concerns that I have. So yes, it's a super late one. Had to wait till we watched everything. It was a half-an-hour stream. We're going to use some of the video clips that we've got on there, delve in, talk about it, and really break it down. Let me start recording so I don't forget. Whew. Okay, what we got? Let's check the comments and see what we have. Kingdom Within, KD, man, you, the absolute GOAT. Thank you for last stream, man. You really, really just surprised me there. Really appreciate it, man. I think Apple laptops might be the new kingpin of laptop. I still prefer framework, though. Interesting take. Appreciate everyone that's in here. We've got 9 concurrent viewers. Shout out to everyone that's in here right now. Hopefully, we get more people in. Share it out on your socials. Let people know that we are live on the Tech and Chill Show. And of course, we are streaming this live in crispy 4K UHD. So if you've got the bandwidth, the capacity, and the device, make sure you select higher than SD, which is 480p. Select 720p, which is high definition. Go up to 1080p, which is FHD, full high definition. Go up to QHD 1440p, which stands for quad high definition. All the way up to 4K UHD, ultra high definition, 2160p for the crispiest live stream on Tech YouTube right now. Shout out to the replay crew that are here as well. Of course, if you're finding this and it does look like a normal pre-recorded video, we were live, but shout out to you as the replay crew. We appreciate the support as well. And of course, make sure you check out the cut down channel, which is the pretty much condensed cut down version of this. If you pretty much can't watch the whole hour, 2 hours, 3 hours of what the stream is, the countdown is going to give you the more condensed version. So definitely head over there, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you get a more condensed version of that. All right, we're in our bag and we're in our groove. Let's talk all things related to M series, 3rd generation, and boy, I'll say this for positive being positive, right? We're going to start with the chips and we're going to go into the computing devices that really define them. And the main thing we're going to really talk about is going to be the laptops on a 14-inch and a 16-inch. Credit to Apple, man. This Apple silicon transition, they've really done well. I just want to give credit where credit's due. I think we get caught up in things are so good now that we have to spend more time nitpicking what's bad. They said it with chest, they went with chest, and they've done it. They've done a full Apple silicon transition away from the traditional x86 architecture that we've known from Intel especially and AMD to what is based on the ARM ARM-based Apple silicon chips, right? Which is effectively, it is based on what is a supercharged iPad and a supercharged smartphone architecture in an M series chip, right? Where their Ultra series is two match chips welded together effectively with a high interconnect memory bus that communicates with each other. It's crazy. So I personally just want to say as a whole, they're on their third generation from 2020 when the M1 was introduced into the MacBook Air and the MacBook Pro, and the transition to what we saw the year after when it came to the Pro, you know, with someone like me that's used M1 Pro and does have the M1 Max. This is very impressive to see that year on year, they've only a slight blip with the M2 series. We saw them release it in January, February, rather than the October timeline that we usually would have expected them to, but they stuck to the guns. It was a little stopgap, slight delay. Again, with everything that was happening with COVID, pandemic, chip shortages, fabrication process challenges, they are here on their third generation. And boy, oh boy, are they bringing some phenomenal things. First thing I want to say that I'm really pleased to see, yes, they were on the second generation 5nm process, which was slightly tuned, more overclocked, and more power that went into it. I'm glad they've skipped 4nm. They haven't even gone with the first generation 4nm or second generation 4nm. They've gone straight to the 3nm architecture that's based on TSMC's design. And again, what this tells me is, compared to what we've seen from other, compared to what we've seen from the other competition, it seems like they are in bed with TSMC, i.e., they struck a deal with TSMC where they've pretty much bought up all the 3nm processing chips pipeline for their Apple silicon, right? Because I don't think any of the other competition are going to be getting access to 3nm, maybe up until mid next year if they do chip recycles or refreshes, apologies. It might actually be all the way up until Q3 or Q4 of next year where the manufacturers will be able to get into 3nm. And by then, I'm sure Apple would have actually had a refresh second generation of the 3nm process before moving over to 2nm as a stopgap and then to 1nm. So we've got 3 Apple silicon-based chips that have been announced. M3, M3 Pro, M3 Max. As you can see right here, you've got an 8-core design, a 10-core GPU, and up to 24 gigabytes of unified memory. M3 is 12-core CPU. Again, we're going to break down which one is performance cores, which ones are efficiency cores. Up to an 18-core GPU, again, up to, so we're going to see what the configurations and the bin architecture really consist of that. But the jump from what you're seeing in terms of up to 36 gigabytes of unified memory, up from 24, that's an extra 12 gigabytes of RAM. But the M3 Max, and it should be a bit more of an interest to me because I came from an M1 Pro, got a good deal on an M1 Max. I'm basically an M1 Max user, right? We're getting up to a 16-core CPU, 40-core up to GPU, and up to 128 gigabytes of unified memory. That's insane. That's insane. I think that's the most amount of configurable memory that I remember off head being available in a laptop, and considering that probably can go in a 14-inch. We're going to check the configuration and see. Yeah, it's the M3 Max is looking like an absolute beast. Okay, game-changing graphics performance. Again, Apple have been doing a lot with transitioning, making the application program interface API more gaming friendly, and obviously the graphics performance that we're seeing here as well for video acceleration next to the media engine. Again, they didn't really mention much about the media engine, unless I missed it. They did talk about the multiple streams of ProRes that you can decode and encode when you're editing and stuff, but they didn't really say much. I think the only thing they mentioned was the fact that they've got an AV1 decoder and encoder that's in there now, which is obviously going to be much more friendly for the up-to-date AV1 codec for streaming. And obviously, hopefully, maybe cameras in the future are going to be recording AV1, but it depends whether they're going to be able to license it as an acquisition codec. We're not too sure. But yeah, we're seeing this right now. They're really comparing it to the M1 Max, saying it's 2.5 times faster. Again, that's first generation 5nm process up to this new generation 3nm process. Again, we're going to have to see it and test it to see if that is across the board, how close it is, if it's app specific. Again, they've put the capabilities of having hardware-based ray tracing in there for real-time lighting and shadow tracing and stuff. So again, it's going to be much more realistic shadows and reflections. Again, app dependent, app supported, depends what the situation is. We're going to have to check that out and see how that goes, right? Up to 8% faster CPU. Again, multi-threaded performance on the 16-inch MacBook Pro with the M1 Max. That's what they're talking about. And over 18 trillion operations per second. Again, could be marketing, but could also be true. Battery life is something that they're stating up to 22 hours. Again, that's probably in a controlled environment of a 200-nit display, SDR mode, probably just watching videos, but who knows? Apple Silicon have been very efficient. I'm also so surprised, especially someone like me that is a Premiere Pro video editor, that they actually put in Premiere Pro at the forefront and not Final Cut. At least they usually put DaVinci Resolve, but it looks like they've really potentially doubled down with Adobe to make it even more efficient, which I'm not complaining. I'm a MacBook Pro user that uses Premiere Pro. I'm not complaining if that's the case. Thank goodness. Right? Arms up, or amps up. And here we are. Here's the breakdown of what we're seeing. Right? MacBook Pro for everyone. So have to understand this, that the M3 chip non-Pro is only available in the 14-inch MacBook Pro, not in the 16-inch. 14-inch MacBook Pro and the refreshed iMac, right? It's only available in there. Where you get the Pro and the Pro and the Max for the M3 is on the 14-inch and the 16-inch. The 14-inch will give you up to 18 hours of battery life with the Pro and the Max. The up to 22 hours is on the M3. And up to 22 hours is on the 16-inch with the M3 Pro and M3 Max. Hopefully that makes sense. What you'll seem to be getting is an improvement to the display when it comes to SDR mode. Again, we've got 14 and 16-inch. Liquid Retina Extreme Dynamic Range. They've refined it. They've put stuff together. Obviously, Apple's speakers is class leading. Their mic, their inbuilt mic is class leading. I'm sure the image signal processor ISP on the M3 chip is going to be even better to enjoy a better webcam experience, which yet again is lacking Face ID, which I'm not too happy about. All the right connections. Whoa. We're saying that, right? But there's a catch. So we don't have Wi-Fi 7, so Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.3, which is obviously the highest spec. We've got the MagSafe on the left, two Thunderbolt, two USB-C 4 on the left. High-speed UHS-2 SD card slot, my favorite. USB-C on the right, then HDMI. Right, there's a catch here. There's a catch here. So we're going to talk about this. Drive external display, connect one high-resolution external display M3, up to 2 of the M3 Pro, and up to 4 in the M3 Max. Okay, so we're seeing that there's differences. Touch ID as expected. Right, cool. Let's go to tech specs and see what's up. Right, here we are. We're looking at UK prices for now, right? I'll probably do a quick switch over to US prices. 14-inch is the one that is near and dear to my heart because the M1 Pro base model, when that came out, was 16 gigabytes unified memory, 512 gigabytes for storage for SSD, which was using 2 SSD NAND chips, right? And the configuration there, that was 1899 in the UK brand new, right? This base model does not start with a Pro chip. It starts at £1,699, 1,700 compared to 1,900. Is a £200 difference, right? Terabyte model is what brings it up to what that magical price was at 1899. So we're going to have a look and really see where we're going. All right. So M3 is broken up into 4 performance cores, 4 efficiency cores, right? 10 GPU cores that are hardware-based ray tracing involved, 16 neural cores. Again, here's the media engine as we've seen, which is accelerated for H.265. High efficiency video coder, which is H.265. Obviously, you've got H.264, ProRes RAW, video decode engine, AV1 encoder that's in there, right? So you can see this is how it's broken up. 11 core CPU, which is 5 performance cores and 6 efficiency cores, 14 GPUs when it comes to the cores. Memory bandwidth is 50% higher as well. And then also you can configure it up to the 12 core with 18 core GPU. Again, it's weird how that's broken up. I'm not sure how the 12 core looks like. I'm guessing that's a 6x6 architectural breakdown, 50% performance to efficiency. M3 Max is up to 14 core, N30 core, and obviously you've got a high bandwidth there, which obviously states that you've got the 14 core binned M3 Max, and that can go up to a 16 core binned M3 Max, a non-binned M3 Max, sorry, for the CPU, which I'm guessing is 8x8. And a much higher GPU throughput with the memory bandwidth as well. So what we have here, 6x6 for the M3 Pro when it comes to performance to efficiency. M3 Max 14, which is 10x4, which is very interesting how they've split that. So the 16, what is that going to entail? Is that going to entail a 10 performance core and a 6? All right, we're going to configure it and find out. So again, what they've done is they've increased the SDR brightness from 400 to 600, but it's effectively the same display experience, slightly tuned. Obviously, you've got a ProMotion display that can be adaptive at 120 hertz, but fixed resolutions, so fixed refresh rates are all stated down here, which is up to 60 hertz. Memory configuration, 8, 16, 24 for the M3. M3 Pro is 18 and also 36 gigabytes. Interesting. And then what we have here is the configuration of 48, 64, and 128 gig. 36 as well. Interesting. And then the storage configuration up to 2 terabytes on M3, 512, 1 terabyte, 2 terabytes, 512, 1 terabyte, 2 terabytes, 4 terabytes, 8 terabytes. 8 terabytes is only available on the M3 Max. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting how they've done this. So here are the ports that we're seeing, right? Here's a couple of the concerns that I'm starting to see right now. What Apple doesn't tell you is the base model non-Pro M3 MacBook Pro 14-inch comes with 2 USB-C ports. Thunderbolt USB 4, but it is the Thunderbolt 3 protocol with up to a theoretic 40 gigabits per second. You'll get less of it compared to Thunderbolt 4, right? So you can see on the right here, yep, that USB-C that's in the middle of the SD card and the HDMI, gone. There's reasons for that. There's reasons why they've not split one each on each side, and I'll, give my 2 cents and explain it there. M3 Pro and M3 Max pretty much tells me these are the ones that are available in the new space black color, which I'm still not entirely convinced until I see it in person. But, it's good to see a return to black, back to black, as they call it. Cool. 3 Thunderbolt 4 ports with support for charging, DisplayPort, Thunderbolt 4 with up to 40 gigabits per second, which you're going to theoretically get much more of it. And it's still built around the USB 4 up to 40 gigabits protocol that's there. Okay, here we are. Full native resolution, 1 external display up to 6K 60. Interesting. So obviously the GPU is limited. And you've got full native resolution. Again, 6K 60 over Thunderbolt. They don't state whether this is over Thunderbolt on the M3. Cool. We're going to dive into that. What do we have here? What do we have here? What do we have here? We've got 6K 60 hertz Thunderbolt, and and then 4K at 144 hertz over HDMI. One external display support with 8K 60. Yep, 240 hertz, which is with display stream compression. Absolutely. Here we are. Of course, support for the native display, over USB-C, video playback, backlit keyboard, no Wi-Fi 7, just 6E. And here we are. So this is everything that you get in terms of the configuration of the M3 chip, which only comes in one SKU, and the M3 Pro and the M3 Max have different bin configurations, which isn't entirely easy to follow. So you have to really pay attention to the one that you're getting in terms of the correct binning, right? Of course, we've got the 16-inch here, which starts at £2,599. And of course, that starts with the base M3 Pro chip, 12-core CPU, 6-core performance, 6x6 split, 6x6 split here, 10x4, 4 efficiency cores, 12x4. Okay, so the 16-core, so it's still 4. Okay, it the M3 Max heavily loads up on performance rather than efficiency cores, right? I see it. It starts with 18 gigabytes of RAM. Great. Love to see it. Compare. We've got asterisks right there. Let's order now and see a configuration. Let's do what we have here. M3. Base. Non-base. What do we see that's different? 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1899 without a Pro chip. I don't know how I feel about that, in my opinion. I don't. Okay. Let's look at what we get here. 8 gigabytes of unified memory. Again, 512 gigs of storage. It's not the issue. What we need to find out is this gone back to 2 NAND chips, or is it a single NAND chip for the SSD? Again, an extra £10 is going to give you a 96-watt charger. Honestly, you don't need it. Save the money. Simple, easy bag, right? 16 gigabytes of RAM. What does that do? Bring you to 1899. A terabyte of storage, £2,100. Speccing this all the way to 24 gigabytes and still getting all the limitations, 2,700. Don't do that. If we go back and select this base model here, right? 16 gigs of RAM. Much cheaper. You see? So I'm going to go here, paste and go. So here's the trick, 16 gigs of RAM. Bam. And then we're going to go here, select 16. Yep, it configures it to be the same. Now let's go for M3 Pro. Base model here. Right? This is effectively £200 more from what that magical 1899 price was before. £1,900 was before. And what do we get here? 11 core CPU. Definitely not worth speccing that up. That's actually fine. That's a lot when it comes to a memory jump. Most thing that's worth doing is putting the money into extra storage. Because guaranteed, at least a 1 terabyte of storage, you can guarantee You're not just getting double the storage, but you are getting 2 physical NAND chips. And with the combined unified architecture memory there, trust me, you'll be fine. So you're looking at £2,300. What we're looking at over here. Yeah. And on the 16-inch, selecting the base, with 1 terabyte of storage, £2,800. I'm a 14-inch type of guy because I travel a lot. My configuration would be this one here. M3 Pro. It would be M3 Pro. It would definitely be M3 Pro. Order now. M3 Pro 14. Select this. Increase the storage. That would be my one here. All right. My biggest concern is going to be this particular one here, this base model. I personally think from the jump, there's just a bit too many gotchas. I think there's just a bit too many gotchas. Here's why. You look at the Mac lineup right now, right? MacBook Pro. What do we get with the MacBook Pro? The extension and the final removal of that 13-inch MacBook Pro with Touch Bar. Lord, we are glad it's gone. It was not needed. Glad to see it go, right? So it now leaves you in this position. Of course, we've got the updated iMac, which is finally getting the M3. Everything about the iMac. Again, I'm not much of an iMac user, but everything about the updated iMac with the M1, right? You look at the tech specs. They're finally given the M3 chip. Long overdue. Much needed. So glad they've done it. Well done, Apple. Thank you. I still don't agree with the fact that it starts with a 256 gig storage SSD. If we do a quick look at the configuration there, it starts with 8 gigs of RAM. Yeah, it's a bit tight on this one. Not gonna lie, with a base storage of 256. Where I would feel comfortable, 16 gigs of RAM. Gigabit Ethernet for sure. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I guess that's going to be the one to configure that makes sense. 1,829 gigabit Ethernet. You definitely want that, in my opinion. 512 gig storage, definitely 16 gigs of RAM for a laptop, for an all-in-one like that. But again, my biggest problem is this base configuration of the MacBook Pro here has got too many gotchas. And this is Apple at their best when it comes to just how well they honey trap you, right? They've now cut off. I'm going to switch. They've now cut off, okay? They've now cut off the dreaded Touch Bar 13-inch MacBook Pro. So here's where everything now looks absolutely updated, right? 13-inch, 15-inch MacBook Air with the update design. Yes, they're still on M2. They're going to get refreshed to the M3 very soon, come January, 100%. It's going to be a soft refresh. They're going to bring everything into that line. Wait till the M2 becomes a year old on certain laptops, and then boom, do it for it, right? Here's where the issue is right now when you look at it. It traps you. That 13-inch MacBook Pro going and it slotting in makes it look good. If you're an Intel user from absolutely up to 2019, it looks like a good look. My issue with it is there's 5 gotchas with it. Price, right? Even though in the UK, for example, if I'm looking at it being 1,700 compared to that magic 1,900 that M1 Pro from 2021 was as a base model, right? And how sweet it was in terms of having 2 NAND chips, 16 gigs of RAM, M1 Pro, media engine, class-leading display, build quality, all the ports of no compromises. It was such a difference maker, in my opinion. This particular situation, the USB-C on the right is gone. That's one. Second reason I can come up with that brings me into a point of concern as a gotcha is there's only two now, right? On the left. And those, although are USB 4, they aren't the Thunderbolt 4 protocol, they're the Thunderbolt 3 protocol, which although it still states both are up to 40 gigabits per second, you're going to get more of that theoretic up to 40 gigabits per second with a Thunderbolt 4 compliant port than a Thunderbolt 3 compliant port. That's another second gotcha. Next gotcha is 8 gigs of RAM. Every other M3 chip, M3 Pro, M3 Max, got a 2 gigabyte bump to the base RAM. That should have been 10 gigs. It should have started at 10 gigabytes of RAM. That's the third gotcha that I've got now, right? It should have started with that. The fourth gotcha is a very, very minor one in my opinion. Why I say very minor is that the HDMI port itself can do 4K 120. Confirmed it. It can do 4K 120. They were very, very, very kind of hidden about what it could do in terms of high bandwidth output. So again, it's not limited to 4K 60 like the M1 series were. Great to see. But it doesn't support display stream compression. Just putting it out there. That's what allows it to do the 8K 60 and a 4K 240 hertz. But again, it can only drive one external display. Can't drive more than that from how it's been stated. So again, the GPU in there, it's very, very limited. And it's semi-crippled enough where it's not giving you that level of flexibility if you wanted to use it completely as a multi-monitor desktop replacement. That's something I do. On my M1 Pro, with my dock, I'm running multiple displays, up to 3 external displays at the same time. 2 over the 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports on the left, and 1 with the HDMI port on the right. So that base model wouldn't do with the GPU limitation it has, especially for output and external displays. That's the fourth gotcha. The fifth potential gotcha, which we've got to wait and see, is my biggest fear in terms of cutting corners. This does not have a dual NAND chip for the SSD. And that's going to be such a cripple base based on how the unified memory architecture works with just a single NAND SSD chip with 8 gigabytes of RAM on the base. This is the problem that we had with the M2 Pro, where in a lot of RAM heavy loaded situations, when it was actually having to, dump things to the SSD, right? Because the SSD in the M2 Pro base model 512 was slower than the base model M1 Pro 512, it caused issues. I feel like this might be another gotcha, number 5, that's there. Right? Everything, you see, and once you count that and you consider that £200 less, it looks enticing because the base model price is a better entry. 13-inch Pro's gone. You're an Intel user. That's what you would go for. But my point is, it seems like generation on generation, what that value of the 14-inch base MacBook Pro brought compared to the M1 Pro 14-inch is still the best value Mac that they've made, in my opinion. And it seems like it's just being devalued. You have to remember, something being cheaper doesn't mean it's better value when corners are being cut like that. And in my opinion, having these 5 reasons on top of the price of £200 to get away from that sweet spot that is $1,899, you would have to go for the M3 Pro. But the problem is, the M3 Pro is still £200 cheaper for it to be worth that base configuration, even though you're getting all the ports, you're getting the Thunderbolt 4 configuration, you are also getting all the external display configuration that can really support it. It's a point of concern. It's £200 more. It doesn't meet that sweet spot. That sweet spot for the $1,899 that the M1 Pro brought back in the day, it gave you space for configurability, especially when it came to storage. Going up to a terabyte, having 16 gigabytes of RAM, as well as having a full M1 Pro. Here it just feels like things are just too corner cutty. It feels like things are just too corner cutty in this situation. So yes, I have some concerns, right? My configuration personally that I would be getting as someone that is using currently an M1 Max, 32 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte of storage, 14-inch, which that original spec was £3,000 or 2,999 when it first came out. And it's a built to spec order. It's not something you can buy off the shelf. You have to spec it, Apple build it, they send it out to you. It's a built to spec order. Scary fast, yes. iMac getting an M3, yes. No iMac Pro. If you're an iMac user that ever used the Pro model and you like the all-in-one nature of an iMac and you wanted a Pro version, I do feel a bit bad for you. But the M3 was needed in the iMac as a boost. I'm very, very glad that they skipped 4 nanometers, first and second gen, went straight to 3 nanometers. Absolutely 100% happy with that. I'm glad they got rid of the 13-inch MacBook Pro. Pointless laptop that was there. But, for all the good I can say about this, and all the good that I can bring forward of what they've improved and what they've said, I just feel this entry-level 14-inch MacBook Pro, as good as it may seem, might be a trap where we got to be careful with it. I wouldn't buy the base model just yet, unless you're going to be doing content to really delve into it and find out what the inner gubbins and what the limitations are further to what Apple are not telling you. I would say try not to get the base model 14-inch MacBook Pro just yet. You might have to bite the bullet if you want the new space black color, which I'm not 100% too sure about. You know, Trent was saying that this is space gray plus. Hold fire. Either go for the base model 14-inch M3 Pro for that $2,099 or $2,000. Stay away from the base model M3. I think just stay away from the M3 14-inch MacBook Pro for now, in general. I just feel like there's a bit too many gotchas. I think it just needs a bit more of a seeing to. It looked great to start with. If they'd hit a price point of $1,499, $1,500, I'll be less critical. But for it to be a £1,700 pound laptop, $1,700 laptop or $1,600 laptop without taxes, I've got some concerns. So that's my early thoughts and take. That's my early thoughts and take on Apple's scary fast event. No iPads, purely Mac, 14-inch, 16-inch Pro, M3. Let's dive into the comments and see what's good with everybody. We wanted to make this a quick live reaction. We've hit the 40-minute mark. Let's dive in and see what is good with everyone. I am going to see what's up. Okay. Apple are the best computers. I really am. Like I said, credit where credit's due. This transition over to Apple Silicon, I give them credit. They've been on smoke. Considering the challenges that came with, 2020 pre-production, everything in between, for them to have done a full transition and year on year basically stuck to it where they are effectively on their 3rd generation and it's on the most cutting edge fabrication process that is 3 nanometers. Apple, credit to you, man. I'll give you that. What are people doing with their computers that they need something stronger than the M1 and M2? It's so gimmicky. I don't think it's gimmicky, dude. Listen, it's not gimmicky, man. Bro, let me tell you something. A 9-layer 4K edit with a mixture of 200 megapixel JPEG files, 56-minute long. Go check that camera comparison. And Lord is my witness. Well, not Lord, but Damien and Matt are my witness. It took me 36 hours to edit that video. And Lord, did we struggle to get that exported. Let me tell you this. There's never too much power to need more power, in my opinion. There just isn't. So it's not gimmicky. If other people's use cases are generic, that's for them. But I'm telling you, for us people that are really thrown down intense edits, yeah, give me as much power and as much efficiency improvements with specialist features, with improved video decoders for AV1, H.265, H.266 in the future when it comes, which people are forgetting that H.266, right, is also a finalized codec progression of H.264, H.265. Listen, there's never not enough power to improve. So all the companies that are going to keep improving their manufacturing process, their designs, their chipsets, their specialist cores, as well as their traditional cores, bring it on. Not gimmicky at all. Hello from Puerto Rico. I have M1 Pro or Max 16-inch, and that's sufficient for me. Got 64 gigabytes of RAM and 2 terabytes of storage. That's an M1 Max. Bruh, stacked, Jose. Like that. Appreciate you being here. Tech for your needs. What's good, what's good, what's good? M3 family has less memory bandwidth than the M2 family. Again, that's another gotcha. Also, Marquez just dropped. We'll check it. Hi, lover of tech. Hope you're doing well. Of those, which configuration would you reckon for someone looking into getting started with content creation? I would say find a way to get an M2 Pro used. 14-inch M2 Pro with 1 terabyte of storage. Or if you can find an M1 Pro 14-inch used, base model, 512 gigs, 16 gigs of RAM, still the best laptop configuration Apple have done in my opinion. Okay, so what's funny? Yes, Brooks Media. What's good, Sean? Boy, Sean. Sean, all I'm going to say is I need that. You know what that means. I need that. What's funny is the original M1 is so good, it's hard for me to care about these upgrades. Like, if you're a content creator and you haven't changed systems, I don't see the benefits with the performance. So for me, for how intense my camera comparison edits are, bro, 9-layer edits, sometimes those videos are going up to 1 hour. My PC, even with my RTX 4070, 32 gigs of RAM, 12-core Ryzen 5900X with hyper-threading at 24 cores or threads, bro, it took me 2 hours and then some to barely export that camera comparison video, which I appreciate everyone supporting and not popping off. But I promise you, man, it depends. I just think most content creators will need the upgrade, but someone like me, I will need the upgrade, bruv. Bro, sometimes I'm doing content across 3 to 4 YouTube channels. Do you understand? 2 that absolutely pay, an extra 2 that we're just building from the ground up for it to be profitable. So trust me, man, time is money for me, bruh. That performance is mission critical. Just putting it out there for perspective and context. 8 gigabytes of RAM. Should have been 10 gig. No more than 8 gigabytes of RAM. Fire the person at Apple that keeps pushing that trash. I agree. Like, that should have been 10 gigs of RAM. For every other chip for the M3 Pro and the M3 Max to get an extra 2 gigabytes with the base increase, that should have been 10 gigabytes of RAM. Shouldn't have been 8. I agree. I don't have any other gear yet. I'm just starting out. If you're starting out, find a 14-inch base model M1 Pro used. I promise you that configuration is the best laptop configuration Apple have ever made, in my opinion. The Gadgets Child, a.k.a. Tommy, a.k.a. Mr. Adebayo, a.k.a. Gadgets Boy, what's good? The more I look at the M3 fam, the more it's bro, it's hella sus. It's fishy. That's why I put in the title for the live stream that I'm concerned. I'm hella concerned. I bought the M3 iMac. You know what? Great purchase. M3 iMac is a go. I still think you shouldn't really be getting that with 256 gigs of storage. That's also low-key criminal. You do have to put up definitely 512 and 16 gigs of RAM. You're going to spend about £1,829 as we showcased. In my opinion, that's the configuration I would go for. 256 gig storage is utterly criminal. What we need to do is wait for the X Elite devices to come to the market and we can start benchmarking them. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, to get the Space Black, you need to get an M3 Pro, M3 Max. Again, that's another gotcha. We've got about 7 gotchas. How many gotchas are we going to be getting for this base M3 14-inch MacBook Pro? Can't get the Space Black. There's like at least about 8 or 7 gotchas. The homie Courtney Hill, aka Filmed by Fresh Baby in the building. Man, is it time for me to upgrade the M1 Pro? I think for you, just because you're shooting with much more intensive codecs, I don't know if you're shooting to an Atmos externally for your FX6, but I know the FX6 doesn't really have friendly, high color-based codecs in the H.264 format. I think the MXF container that it uses, if you are going to be using anything that gives you the 442 color sampling with 10-bit color, you are having to use the all-intra codec, which requires faster SDs or CF Express type A's. I think for you, the M1 Pro to M3 Pro would be a worthwhile jump. And I mean, if you can get the M3 Max, hey, you're laughing. You are laughing. I just think for your situation, Fresh, potentially that upgrade might be a bit more worth it, like it is for me, just because of how intense our edits are. But we're working on multiple channels, 2 channels, one channel that's kind of like a job, and then one where it's like our actual baby that we're growing, that's our side hustle to be the main. Why are people unhappy? This event wasn't expected to begin with. It was expected. I think it was always expected. I know people were saying next year, but I always believed that we're going to do it this year. No one is unhappy. Overall, it's a great release. What we're saying is what came and looked like a pleasant surprise with the M3 14-inch, now it's starting to look way more sus than it seems worth. I think the sus nature, if it was $200 cheaper, £200 cheaper at 1,499, 1,500, even all these concerns that we're saying, I think all of us would unequivocally say yes, £1,500, $1,500 for this base M3 with all the cutbacks, great. But bruh, 1,700 with all these initial gotchas that were coming out, and that's before we do reviews on it to see whether it's got 2 NAND chips. We don't know yet. I just think it's a bit, Space Black is nice. You've been Space Gray Plus. All right, for example, we use our main rig, Ryzen 9 with an RTX 4070. On that camera comparison, it struggled harder to render, yet the M1 Max went through. Yeah, like, bro, I kid you not, man. Apple Silicon, when it comes to video work, godsend, godsend, godsend. And it's not just about absolute raw power that makes it special. That media engine, the ARM architecture, the performance per watt, the unplugged performance staying the same, the quietness, the quality of life features, the build, there's a collectiveness to it where, as someone that absolutely does not get along with MacBook Pros when it comes to macOS specifically, I tolerate it because it's just that much better for that efficient video work for content creation that I put up with macOS. There's never enough power, especially when it comes to video work. And that's even before we start getting into VFX work, special effects work, things like After Effects, motion. Listen, there is never not enough power. Software is usually ahead of hardware every time. There's never enough power. Just as a blanket statement, some of us really generally need as much power as we can to render and edit. Listen, before this live stream, I was editing like an absolute mug to make sure video went live on Sam Mobile for One UI, right? And in that situation, I need a computer where it just does not slow down at all. It exports quickly. Some things, yeah, are double stacked back to back that I kid you not, you cannot not have enough power. You just cannot not. I just tweeted right. M1 is still more than capable. We are spoiled in too much of a rush. Yeah, we are spoiled. It's not really about a rush. It's about just understanding where the values are if you're coming from the perspective of a 2019 to 2018 computer upgrading. You just have to be very, very careful. And the problem is, when you're buying used, right, you have to think about battery cell degradation, condition, warranty, Apple Care. So sometimes there's a certain level of peace of mind that comes with buying new, where you can add Apple Care, have protection, have the longevity of something that's going to last absolute longer, right? So it's more just not being in a rush and seeing what's the right one to get, because you don't want to get one that doesn't meet your expectations then and later. That's the thing you really have to judge and, you know, work together. Gabriel, sup, bro? What's good? What's good? What's good? MSN Tech, good day, sir. It's Mike from your last stream. Still waiting on my Pixel 8 Pro. Hey, I hope your Pixel 8 Pro comes soon, Mike. I appreciate you, man. Peace. Thank you for being here. Much love. I'm really intrigued to see how the performance of these chips develop into Apple's gaming push. Who knows? Maybe one day we'll see a strictly ARM gaming for Apple. Absolutely. Cheers, man. As Jimmy will say, stay hydrated, people. Water, the best drink in the world. So here we are. 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 Bruv, you know somehow Sully, bro, I don't know. He's a character, man. I know Kane. I know of Kane, aka Kano. You know the guy that plays Sully he's a rapper, bruv. Maybe he's just too good of an actor. You lot know Sully. We know him as Kano. P's and Q's, baby. Right, we're getting up to the 1 hour mark. Ask me anything. That's kind of been my breakdown. And let's do a quick recap. Content recap, as we like to do for the Lover of Tech channel. Let's check over here. What we got? 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 Here we are. So we are, of course, live streaming this. Live stream Inception. Here we are. Wee. Live stream Inception. Live stream Inception, of course. Right? So this is us. Man, thank you for the best month we've had this year. Technically, we are in the 31st of October. Last day of the month. Just this month alone, we've grown by an extra 3,000 people on the Lover of Tech channel. Team TLS is looking strong right now, aka the Tech Lover Squad. I really appreciate it. You've shown absolute love and support, man. Where do I even begin? The latest video that we put out is on the Horn Bike. Again, it's a dedicated sponsor video, but I'll be very, 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 very honest with you. It's probably one of my favorite produced videos this year so far. I really just like the effort that we put into this to make this work. So definitely go show support on that. Watching these dedicated sponsored videos, it helps keep the bills on, helps keep the light, keeps the light on. And they're difficult to make, especially the ones outdoors with e-bikes, but this one we really pulled out the stops. I think in terms of the overall general production, really happy with it. But I wanted to say a big thank you to everyone for making this our best month yet. Couldn't have done it without you. I think we are on 11 long form videos at the minute, and we're going to do 2 more tomorrow, later today technically. We've got one with the Lenovo Yoga i9 Gen 8, as well as our reaction to the Apple event. So here we are. If we go to channels, again, like I said, definitely subscribe to the Cut Down channel. This is where you get the condensed version of the Tech and Chill Show Unplugged live stream that you're seeing right here. And thank you for the great response on the 3 special edition live stream cut down reviews of the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus, iPhone 15 Pro, and especially the Pixel 8 Pro and the Pixel 8 one. That definitely popped off. Really appreciate the support. We've crossed 500 subscribers on there. Just about to hit 50 videos. Let's get this channel monetized. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers and up, man. Really want to see it become its own thing. If we go to here and we go to Lover of Cameras, hey, we did a vlog. Hey, we did a vlog, people. We did a vlog where we had a little BTS. Hey, Fresh, I didn't know that you comment on there. I'm going to reply back to that. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, bro. I didn't realize you had commented on that one. So this will be more of the camera channel. BTS had a little fun day event at the Creative Collective with YouTube down in London, which was a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And we will showcase what we've posted today as well. On the Sound Mobile YouTube channel, I've done the final One UI official video for Android 14, which is done. So yeah, man, I've done my piece there. So definitely go check. Again, like, yo, we're firing all cylinders everywhere, but the main baby right here, road to 100K. We're still fighting for it, man. Let's finish on 40K for the year. Need 2,000 more, 1,900 more amazing people to join the Team TLS family. Let's get to 40K subs, man. We really appreciate it. 40K, price gone up. Really appreciate the support. Honestly, really appreciate the support. This month has been testing. It has been brutal. These definitive camera comparisons where we're doing 1 hour videos, 40-minute videos, 46-minute videos, 37-minute videos. These edits are intense, brutal, but also we're mixing them up, trying different things where we can. Really appreciate the support on that, man. For real, for real, for real. Let's jump back. Check in on everyone and everyone. Woo! Love me some water. Okay. Anyone got any more questions? We've got about 2 minutes on the clock. And then we are signing out. Another impressive thing is the fact that they did shoot the event all on an iPhone 15 Pro. I'm sure they put professional lenses attached to it, but interesting that obviously they've got very powerful ProRes codecs that they've put in there to utilize, which is very interesting. One minute to go. 1 minute to go. And we're signing out. Really appreciate the support for this stream. Whew, up late on this one, man. Up late on this one. Hope you're all good. Countdown. All right, people. Stay blessed and stay well. Really appreciate everyone that's been on here. It means a lot. Really appreciate the support, man. I really couldn't have done it without you all. Thank you for the amazing October month. 2 more videos to go. We're doing a double upload. Kind of got to, help a brand out that's really showing support. And we're going to do a reaction to our MacBook Pro video as well. But yeah, stay blessed. Stay easy. I will catch you on the next one. Peace.